Hello everyone, welcome to the Hindu editorial vocabulary and reading program presenting by Diction Addiction. In the last week, I found this technology tangle seems to be most interesting article in relation with the 5G and flights. So hence I want to present this article to you all. So just take a look at this article. Hope you understand it. The first word is technology tangle. Tangle means complex or difficult situation. So it is not in an order. So it is not easy to open and work. That is called as a tangle. So both flights and 5G are going to use the same radio spectrum, C-band radio spectrum. They're going to cross over. That is makes the difficulty of landing of the flights. Hence, this is has to be addressed by the appropriate authority. First, we will look into the vocabulary. First word is, as I told you, tangle. Second word is C-band radio spectrum. C-band radio spectrum. This range from 3.7 to 4.8 gigahertz. Snag means that's a problem that slow downs the progress of work or a interaction. Disruption means breaking or interruption of the events. Operation means doing something. Compromise means agreement or give and take policy. Notwithstanding means despite of the fact that. Altimeters, these are the altimeters are the instruments which are used in the flights. Whenever they are wants to land, uh, altimeters are used to know the distance between the flight and the surface or ground level, so that these altimeters are use the radio frequency from 3.9 to 4.4. That is a frequency, radio frequency. It will help the uh, flights to land smoothly in a even stormy or cold weather also. Inclement means cold and stormy or unpleasant weather or situation is called as a inclement. Impasse. Impasse means situation in which a progress is not possible. Deadlock. Stalemate means hands are locked. There is no chance to progress. Altitude means height of the object above the sea or ground level. Altimeters checks the altitude. So when a flight wants to land, it checks the distance between height between the surface and the flight. Based upon that, it will take a action to land or not. Belated means late or delayed. Peculiar means very hard, weird or rare, or things are called as peculiar. Jurisdiction means place or area or boundaries. Deployment means placing. Deploying means placement. Placing someone for some reason, some purpose. Deploying the police for an emergency situation. Asserted means it's a belief confidently. Contents means struggle or strive. Accurate means precise or correct information, correct one. Retrofitted means any device or apparatus or instrument is uh, uh, is fitted with a new part, addition of new part to the instrument which is not part of during manufacturing. Retrofitted means a new part is added to the existing instrument, but that was not part of during the manufacturing. That is what is called as a retrofitted. This is all about the vocabulary. Now we will move to the reading section. Almost 11 months after the United States, leading telecommunications companies won bids for $81 billion worth of C-band radio spectrum to roll out 5G services. The much awaited introduction hit a major snag this week after the country's leading airlines warned of massive flight disruption if the wireless technology was put into operation, especially around the nation's airports. In a compromise on the eve of the planned rollout on January 19, AT&T and Verizon agreed to delay introduction of the new wireless service near key airports. The two major telecoms commitment notwithstanding, several domestic and international airlines flying to the US have announced major rescheduling as well as the possibility of cancellation of flights to several destinations, citing warnings from the Federal Aviation Administration and aircraft makers that accurate functioning of radar altimeters in some aircraft may be affected by the 5G radio frequencies. The altimeters provide information on aircraft's altitude and are a crucial part of flight operation for pilots, particularly while seeking to make low visibility landing in inclement weather. At the heart of the impasse lies the fact that both the 5G services and some flight equipment operate on the same C-band radio spectrum with only the frequency varying. The FAA, Federal Aviation Authority, has said it is working with the altimeter manufacturers to evaluate data from the wireless companies to determine how robust each model is and, if required, have the devices retrofitted or replaced. The fact that the world's largest economy is now faced with risk of large-scale domestic and international air travel disruption as a result of the relatively belated rollout of 5G telecom services points to the peculiar problems of the US market, including the particular frequencies allotted there for 5G. South Korea, China, and Japan and several European nations have already successfully rolled out 5G services, and the US telcos have cited the lack of problems in these jurisdictions as evidence that the FAA and airlines need to do more to find solution to the deployment of the wireless technology near airports. The Federal Aviation Authority on its website has pointed to the specifics of the proposed 5G rollouts in the US with a comparison to the situation in France and asserted that some key difference pose challenges. For one, the aviation regulator contends planned buffer zones for US airports only protect the last 20 seconds of flight, while in France, the last 96 seconds flight are protected from any interruption from 5G signals. Also, 5G power levels are lower in France, with even the planned temporary nationwide lower power levels in the US still expected to be 2.5 times more powerful. US President Joe Biden and his administration will have their task cut out in pushing to hammer out a long-term solution to this impasse so as to minimize any further disruption to the already pandemic hit global travel and trade sectors. You see, this is what is a C-band radio spectrum. This is range from 3.7 to 3.4.8 gigahertz. In this one, this is a range from radio spectrum 3.7 to 4.8 gigahertz. 5G is going to use 3.7 to 3.98, and flights altimeters works at 4.2 to 4.4. Entire 5G radio frequency and flight altimeters are between in the 3.7 to 4.8 gigahertz. Only radio frequency is varying. So because of this reason, so the flights which are using the altimeters which runs between 4.2 to 4.4 are going to have a problem with the 5G signal, which interrupts the altimeters function, and altimeters are used in the landing of flights, landing of the flights. If at all this is going to happen, the landing would be very difficult and may not happen with this signal. So that's why Federation of Aviation Authority FAA, which look into the safety of the airlines, and that's warning that 5G rollout in the US is going to cause a problematic problem to the airlines. Some airlines which are using the altimeters radio frequency between 4.2 to 4.44. What FAA is saying that in France or European countries, the last 96 seconds of the flight are not disrupted by the 5G. When it comes to the US, only 20 seconds is there in the flight pilot hand to which is not disturbed, which is not disrupted by the 5G. So almost 5 times risk is more in the US flight than the European or other countries. And also comes to the power they use for the 5G services is almost 2.5 higher in the US. So 5G is good for 5G is good for communication, which seems to be 100 times more speed than the existing 4G. But without addressing the this radio frequency conflict between the flight altimeters and 5G is not going to help the passengers or the airline market to survive in the pandemic heated market. So I'm pretty sure that aircraft makers and technical teams will look into this one and solve the problem at the earliest. So that I came to know that even Air India also rescheduled the its flights to the US because of the 5G rollout. Thank you all for listening. Now we'll close the session, and if at all you like it, just subscribe for weekly update, not regularly update. Thank you.